Promoting nationalism. Nationalism is an ideology that asserts that a nation is formed by a group of people with a common identity, language, history, and set of customs. In the 21st century, it is hard to imagine a world without nations. However, the concept of a nation state did not come to fruition until the late 18th century. Up until the French Revolution, political unity coalesced around empires, fiefdoms, and tribal affiliations. In the late 18th century into the 19th century, a political concept called nationalism developed. The nationalism definition in world history centered on societal unity around shared ethnic traits such as language, beliefs, and traditions. This is known as classical nationalism. The concept of nationalism also grew out of 19th century liberalism, which supported republican governments over monarchies and put political authority in the hands of citizens that recognize a nation's multicultural state. In this latter, it is known as liberal nationalism and focus on the unity of a nation based on shared allegiance to a political representative rather than unity based on shared ethnicity. Nationalism is first and foremost a political, social, and economic ideology centered around the prioritization of the nation and its interests. As such, nationalism is based on a multitude of values which are community oriented. The amount of values which nationalism is based on is almost endless. However, the main and primary values which form the foundation for nationalism can definitely be identified. These main and primarily values are loyalty. Nationalism teaches loyalty to one's family, one's community, and most important, one's nation. Individuals who commit treason or betray their nations are completely rejected by society. Responsibility. Nationalism teaches responsibility to oneself, to one family, to one's community, and to one's nations. Every single of society has their own responsibilities and obligations which they must fulfill. Those who disregard or even oppose their responsibilities and obligations are punished by society. Pride. Nationalism teaches pride in one nation and community. Individuals are taught to have pride in their culture, their traditions, their language, their nation's history, and the achievements of their nations. Cooperation. Nationalism teaches cooperation between all members of society and the community. All members of nation, whether they belong to the working class, middle class, or upper class, work together for the benefit of their nation. Sacrifice. Nationalism teaches the virtue of self-sacrifice. All members of the national community, especially during dire and uncertain times, are expected to sacrifice themselves in one way or another for the good of the nations. Love. Perhaps most importantly, nationalism teaches love for one's nation and all aspects. All members of a nation are expected to cherish and love the nation's culture, the nation's people, the nation's history, and the nation's community, and the nation's environments. As is quite evident, nationalism is an ideology which is first and foremost based on the values for loyalty, responsibility, pride, cooperation, sacrifice, and love. Nationalism strongly exposes these values and strives to instill them among the population. Nationalism refers to the strong attachment and loyalty that individuals have toward their nation. It can play a significant role in shaping politics, society, and culture in various ways. National identity. Nationalism serves as a unifying force that strengthens the sense of shared identity among citizens. It provides a common set of values, traditions, and symbols that shape the collective consciousness of a nation. Nation building. Nationalism can be instrumental in creating and consolidating a nation state. It fosters a sense of belonging among diverse groups of people, facilitating the formation of a unified political entity. It often involves the promotion of common language, culture, and history to instill a sense of unity. Sovereignty and self-determination. Nationalism plays a crucial role in struggle for independence and self-governance. It fuels the desire of self-determination and the establishment of an autonomous state, promoting a sense of empowerment and freedom from external control. Patriotism nationalism, and civic engagement. Nationalism promotes a sense of pride, loyalty, and attachment to one's country, leading to increased participation in civic affairs and a willingness to contribute to the well-being of the nation. It encouraged citizens to exercise their rights and responsibilities as active members of society. Conflict and competition. Nationalism sometimes leads to conflict and tension between different nations or ethnic groups. Claims to exclusive rights or historical territories can create rivals and fuel tensions. Nationalistic sentiments can also escalate conflict and international relations, as seen in instances of territorial disputes, trade wars, or competitive ideologies. Cultural preservation and promotion. Nationalism often involves a focus on preserving and promoting a nation's cultural heritage and values. This can include the protection of language, traditions, arts, literature, and other forms of cultural expression. Nationalism can act as catalyst or cultural revitalization and the preservation of ethnic or indigenous identities. Economic development. Nationalism can promote economic growth by fostering a sense of national unity and focus. It can inspire citizens to support their national industries, prioritize national interests in trade negotiations, and promote economic policies that benefit the nation as a whole. While nationalism can have positive effects in terms of promoting unity and identity,